Hi, thank you for tuning in. My name is Casey Walters. I'm a student at National Park College, and I am in an online class, and my professor is Dr. St. Marth. Tonight I'm going to be discussing the importance of mathematics in our daily life. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you for a visual aid. So you know what drives me crazy? And tell me if anyone can relate. I'm sure you can. So say you're standing in line at a grocery store and it's after work and you've already made it through all the dreaded aisles and finally gotten everything on your list. And there are 6 people that are actually standing at a register working and ringing people up, and there's 6 people in each line with buggies full. You finally get up to the register, it's your turn, and the cashier rings you up and you hand her the cash. And I mean, you're so frustrated at this moment. You have no idea how much you even gave her, and they don't even mention telling you how much change they're giving you, nonetheless counting it back to you. Leaves me so frustrated because I don't really know if I'm getting the right change back or not. That leads me to why it's so important and people need to learn how to apply math in everyday life in order to be able to complete and fulfill the most basic tasks. Universally, we rely too much on technology and machines to count, to keep up with our records, and do everything for us, from work in it to our work functions in at home. So I'm going to be discussing the top 4 areas we use math in everyday life. Number 1, telling time. 2, cash handling and shopping. 3, cooking. And 4, driving. Yeah, that's right, even driving. Okay, so first let's start with telling time. Telling time is a basic skill taught in preschool. The concept of telling time can actually be seen as an umbrella topic that encapsulates an assortment of cognitive skills that should be developed in the early years. According to PR Sync, which is a professional news and information distribution site, the most highlighted skill in telling time is identifying what elapsed time is in an analog clock more than a digital clock. Children are taught to match what was taught to them when they are introduced to the idea that the long hand means minutes, the short hand means hours, and the running hand means seconds, meaning that a specific position means a particular time of day or night. Children learn to match numbers and hours to give the time of day. Why is it important to be able to tell time? Good time management allows you to accomplish more in a shorter period of time, which leads to more free time, which lets you take advantage of learning opportunities, lowers your stress, and helps you focus, which leads to more career success. Each benefit of time management improves another aspect of your daily life. I apologize, I'm having technical difficulties. So, the importance of knowing how to count money in everyday life. Math and the logical everyday uses for it, from something as simple as learning to read time to counting back change or counting the change that most cashiers do not know how to accurately count back because they rely solely on the register to do it for them. It drives me crazy, and the reason why I bring that up again is because I really started learning how to count and do basic mathematical skills when I was a kid. A lot of my most favorite memories are from when I was a child, and my Nana and Papa had a flea market that they opened when they were retired. And when I was a kid, I loved spending my weekends with them and getting to run the cash drawer. My Nana used every customer as a learning opportunity for me to sharpen my money handling and counting skills. She always took her time and had me count it back correctly to the penny. It is crazy how many people do not know how to count it back from the cent, the sell cost, and it is actually so incredibly simple. How is math used in cooking? You might not think math has much to do with cooking, but the truth is that the better your math skills are, the better you'll be in the kitchen. Just consider the importance of math while you're trying to follow a recipe. I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, my grandma's given me recipes before, and it's hard enough to read her handwriting, but then it says for 2 to 4 people. Well, you're actually cooking for 6. So with that being said, I mean, you've got to learn how to convert temperature changes to if you're using gas or if you're using electric, or what type of pan you're using, changing quantities, and then the wait and cooking time, like I said, depending on how many people you're actually trying to feed. Driving a car. Yep, you use math there too. When driving, math is being utilized both in a general understanding and in actual use. You use math to make calculations and adjustments as you drive. You need to understand math skills to know how your vehicle is operating and how the environment is changing around you as you drive. When I think of using math, the first thing I think of is speed. I'm almost unconsciously adding and subtracting as I adjust my speed to the posted speed limits. A mathematical understanding of speed rates and distances is important to know as well. I mean, for instance, if you're looking at a map, which I know most people don't do, but depending on where you are and where you're going, the speed limits change. I know I'm from Texas, and the speed limit there on the highway is 75 to 85 on most highways. That is pretty much unheard of in Arkansas. It was pretty much a I still haven't gotten used to it, and I've been here for several years. So, that being said, you've got to take into account, you know, what the speed limits are depending on how far you're going, and use math to figure out your estimated time of arrival, your ETA. So as you drive, you adjust your speed not only for the posted limits, but for warnings of obstacles and other vehicles ahead. If you see a sign that there is a sharp curve 2 miles ahead, you may not slow down very quickly. If the same sign says a quarter mile ahead, you most likely will adjust speed immediately. I'm a firm believer that math can be as easy or as challenging as we choose it to be. But we have to recognize the importance of math and how it helps us in our daily day-to-day activities. So in conclusion, I put some tips here for parents, and I want to point out when math is being used in daily life. Ask mathematical questions about the time, how many minutes until the next hour, how many cups are needed in recipes, the fact that they're calculating how long they have left to live in their video games. Kids are using math even when they don't know it, as we are. And even if it annoys them or annoys you or is getting on your nerves, use it to benefit you both. It will slowly sink in that math is sometimes something that is used everywhere. Learn new math skills. If your child's math homework is starting to get beyond your own understanding, which is a comment that I'm hearing more and more often, and I'm seeing more often within my own children, take the time to learn supplementary or complementary math skill sets. Even if you can't help with their homework, you can still teach them something and be valuable in their lives. Like I said earlier, when I mentioned my Nana, in fact, I'm probably going to call her after this and let her know that, you know, the impact that she made in my life, and I will never forget it. I mean, I can count change back to anyone, and I try to not be rude when I see a cashier that is obviously having problems, but I just try to help because that is a skill set that is so valuable. Right here, I've got all of the credible sources that have helped me with my presentation tonight, and I just want to thank you for your time. Have a great night.